grabbed my arm a little bit and like talking to me a little bit, and I'm just like, great, awesome, I'm gonna leave. And I went outside the patio with Andrew, my friend, and we just escaped for a little bit. And I thought, okay, she's not gonna come back up. She knows I just kind of like walked away. They came back up again and asked for a ride back to another bar.
They came up.
Yeah.
So she was accompanied by a friendly.
The first two times, both times she was accompanied by the same person every time. Who knows, A, that I don't drink, because I have problems, and B, knows that I don't like this person because they've done these things to me.
Right.
Comes up to me, asks me to drink their drink, basically forcing him, like, come on, take it. I'm like, no, I'm good. And then the second thing is like, hey, like, talk to blah blah blah, and I almost said the name, but
so close.
Yeah,
so
talk to so and so.
Yeah,
I'll just cut that part out potentially.
Okay, hey, you, it's in your hands.
Yeah, I don't really care, but talk to so and so, whatever. And I was like, yeah, no.
Yeah.
But then she was still talking to me and like asked me how I've been and like what's my semester like.
Right.
And then it was the same thing she'd always do, where it was just like she would start like trying to talk to me, being like, I'm upset, I'm this, and like it's that whole thing of like, she knows like I'm a person that like wants to help people.
Yeah.
So it's that whole thing of like, I'll listen, even though I don't like you, I still feel bad for you.
Right.
I mean, you know, she did terrible things to me. I'm just like, yeah, I feel bad, and I'll still listen. I'll hear you out. And then I know it, and I know like from there it evolves to like ... Can I come back with you? Like, can I?
Absolutely.
And I'm like, yeah, no. Like that didn't happen. But like, I knew if I kept having the conversation with her,
you didn't let it get there.
No, and luckily Kiskin was there. Kiskin kind of like butted in a bunch of times and was like, you know, help me out and said if they need help. Yeah. Like in the worst part, I drove them to the other bar. Yep. Left there, I was like, I'm done. But then my friend leads over and he's like, I might need help with her later. Do you mind helping me out with her? And I'm like, if I do that, then this is just not it's gonna go off hill completely. Right. And then Kiskin like is like, yeah, if they call, just send me. I'm like, okay.
He is a champion in my mind. He's seriously that he looks out for his bud like that. That's good. What you told me too about how he, when he goes out with you, right? There'll be some pre-gaming, but he doesn't drink when he's out with you. No. in the group.
Yeah, because I can't drink, so I don't drink when I'm there. So he doesn't drink when I'm there either. Yeah. So he'll sit there with me and not drink anything because he knows that I feel pretty like, not that I feel lonely, but like that I'm like kind of like an outcast with everyone else drinking around me and stuff. Right. So he kind of helps with like that, you know? So, because I did drink a little bit ago, and that was bad. It was like, as soon as I drank, I started getting very rude again and mouthy immediately, because I get very angry on stuff. So I came back, because I went out with that person that was trying to get me to drink her drink that night. I went out with them. Yeah. I think Sunday. And then she got me like drunk. Like, and that's all, I'm not going to say I blame her, because I had every part to play in it too. You know what I mean? It's all on me. But then I got back to the dorm and Kissing was talking to me, and then I snapped, and I was just like, I can't have anyone fucking here anymore, because everyone, and I just started like blowing up, and he was just like, I was like, I'm gonna go to my room, and I'm just gonna and I just like locked myself in my room, right? Because I knew I was just gonna get more angry if I talked to people. Sure. So that's just how I am. So I had enough self-awareness, luckily, because when I came back, I was like on the come down from it, so it wasn't like terrible, but that's still that like, that feeling and stuff was still there. Right on. It's kind of shameful for me to like, drink like that and stuff and get upset and angry, but there's nothing I can do about it. I fucked up. I fucked up. I want to challenge that. I think we're constantly in our exploration of our own boundaries, right? And what's right for us. Because the stuff that's right for us changes based on us, right? As we evolve, as our needs evolve, as the challenges in front of us evolve.
all this stuff. Like, I've used the example of my father only a million times. But, so after my first marriage, right, I was really torn up about it. Yeah. And so finding partnership and promiscuity was a piece of that. Like, I was just finding partners who were into it, and that was it. And I don't know what else I would have done, but that was how I coped with the pain of that, right? Yeah. And so that's not something that continued to be true for me, so I changed that in my life. But there were areas where I explored that again, and just realized, this isn't what I want anymore. This isn't who I am. I'm not dealing with the same stuff. It's not a tool for me. It's not useful.
My friend's playing Magenta, by the way.
Magenta.
I texted him.
Magenta, yeah. Magenta is not the nakedest person in that show.
Just a little maid outfit. So
yeah, a little maid outfit. Right?
It was not a maid outfit, whatever.
Well, from the movie.
Well, and some of the show stuff I've seen.
Right. Some of the Rocky
It was
Horror
not.
shows.
It was like not anything like that.
I wonder if it's her last scene change as they're getting ready to leave.
Yep.
Could be that.
That could be a little risque, that last one. It would be an adventure for you. So for the folks who are listening, Eastern is putting on Rocky Horror Show.
Yeah.
And Liam's got some friends in the show. One friend's playing Magenta, and we were talking before coming into the studio about how this show maybe isn't.
It's not for me.
It doesn't align with your sensibilities as you've expressed them to me. I will say that.
Yeah. But continue what you were saying earlier, and we could potentially jump into that.
Yeah, we could just we'll just jump right back to that. But it actually is on topic. We question everything except for our beliefs, which we never think to question. Your choice to try again alcohol and see what it did for you, see if you I think that's an honest like self-exploration endeavor. And you saw, right? You were there, you, like you said, you had the self-awareness, you isolated yourself until sobriety reintroduced itself, right? So like kind of no harm, no foul. You learned, it got a little prickly, you're like, I'm out. I'd say that's the right way to explore. Yeah. Right?
Yeah, and my friends, like, if I do drink a night, they prevent me from having more than one drink. So they'll, like, literally, like, they'll, like, cut me off immediately.
Dude, I love this.
Yeah, they'll, like, literally be like, how many? I was like, this is my first one. They're like, cool, you're done. I'm like, oh, okay. But I don't do it often. I, like, avoid it as much as possible. Like, I just avoid it.
Right.
Totally. So
you even go so far as to say sometimes I can't drink. Like that's the language you use.
Yeah.
So there's actually 4 examples here, which I love, of boundaries, of personal boundaries. Okay. And in some cases they're being ruptured, and in other cases they're being held firm. Right. But the fact that you were so clear about your boundaries that that your friends, right, just sort of general friends, and Kiskin, right, and then this friend that brought so and so up to talk to you, right, and then how you set boundaries for yourself. Okay, and so in those 4 cases, you are not only establishing boundaries for yourself because of what the kind of person you want to be, the way you want to show up in the world, but you're also articulate with those boundaries, and letting the people who you know that are in your circle know about them, right? And so you're empowering them, right? You're empowering them with the ability to love you back and say, okay, this is what Liam wants in his life. And they can make the choice to enforce it, as they did with the one drink, as your friend Kiskin did with saying, hey, I'm going to be the one to deal with so-and-so and so forth. And as you did in, just putting yourself in your room since you could feel your behavior was going off the rails, right? my 9-year-old put himself to bed. My 10-year-old put himself to bed 2 weeks ago because he knows that his behavior was way off. And, it's a real statement of maturity as he's stepping into his young adulthood. And then how this friend with so-and-so knew the story, knew your relationship with alcohol and how you're trying to step away, and yet still brought so-and-so to you, right? Was part of the whole, no, just a sip antic. And then after you left that space, brought so-and-so back around, or at least accompanied her, right? It's one thing if she's like, no, so-and-so, let's get out of here. Leave Liam alone, right? But it wasn't that.
No, she spearheaded both.
Yeah, right.
Both things. So.
I mean, what the hell? So this is the space where we see boundaries and how they end up being really important.
It's great.
Yeah. You were having a good time last night.
Yeah, it was for the most part, yeah. It was good.
Right.
Yeah.
And I've challenged you before. I'm like, why are you going to the bar? It's like all the stuff you don't like is there. All the stuff you're no longer doing, right?
Feel alive.
You had to feel alive. But you did. You went last night, you had a good time, and Kiskin was doing magic tricks.
Frat guys stole the pool table from me. Very upset. I was very upset by that.
Yeah.
And it was the most frustrating thing because you could just leave it there, dude. You don't have to push it. I'll push it in later.
All right.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I literally got the pool table opened up, and I was sitting at the bar for 30 minutes, waiting for the pool table, so that I can put my card in to get the pool table.
Yeah.
And the bartender came up. The bartender passed me, was like, "Hey, can I get the pool table?" And they're like, "We'll get to you. Don't worry." And I was like, "Okay, whatever."
Yeah.
This frat guy comes up to the bar, looks at the bartender that I asked, says, "Can I get the pool table?" They're like, "Here you go." And I've been there for 30 minutes waiting patiently and gave it to them immediately. I wanted to throw hands so fast.
Yep.
And I was so angry. And they started coming back to me, and I was like, "I don't need anything. Thank you for nothing." And I walked away. And they're like, "Whatever." And I'm like, "What do you mean? Like, you knew I wanted it, and you gave it to a person that just literally came up for 2 seconds and said,
Yep.
It's ridiculous." I waited there patiently, too.
I mean, bartenders have a lot going on. But if, you felt wronged, that's the story. But it wasn't, like, you didn't throw hands.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, but you also didn't let the bartender know.
No,
like,
what?
You also didn't say, guy? Like, you didn't tell him what you just told me.
Yeah, it was 30 minutes. Well, he knew. So it's like, it's not even like that I'm
but
going
he
to,
knew. What's he know? Like, what's he paying attention to? Like, he
knew I asked.
It's Thursday night at the sports bar.
He knew I asked. And he said, I'll get back to you. And then when the other guy comes up, he's like, "Oh, yeah." It's like, you see me. You see me there. And you give it to the guy next to me.
I'm not saying he did right. I'm just saying, there are a lot of distractions there.
When the guy grabs the pool balls next to me, and I'm looking at the guy that's grabbing them, and he's giving the card, I'm like this, and the bartender's like, it's at that point that he's friends with the guy.
I didn't hear that part of the story.
And
yeah, right. So that's the thing.
It's not like the guy's across the bar from me, and he gives it. The guy comes up next to me. He's like, "Can I get the table?" He's like, "Yeah, man." Dabs him up, gives him the sticks and stuff, and walks away. So it's just like,
okay, all right. That was a little more in your face than I thought it was originally.
I wanted to rip the walls down, and
wow.
God, I told Kiskin, I got back to the table, I told him what happened. He was like, "Are you kidding me?" Like,
right.
It's like, we went to the bar last week too, and a girl bumps into Kiskin. She spills, two girls bump into each other. spill a beer on Kiskin, apologize to each other, and then walk away from Kiskin and don't say anything. And then as soon as they walk away, I was like, you just spilled a beer on him! And they're like, whatever. I'm like, what? He's drenched in beer because of you.
And it doesn't take a lot to get him completely soaked.
No, he's a small boy.
He's a slight fellow.
He's a small boy. It's ridiculous.
Gina, what are you hearing? What are you hearing for our friend? What have you noticed, or what stands out to you in Liam's story?
That he's very polite, nice. Maybe instead of letting himself get to the point where he's going to break somebody's face or wants to, say something like, excuse me, wait, I was just waiting here.
Yeah. What the hell?